Hi, I'm Miles Trotter talking to you from a camper van where we just returned from a trip around the northwest of Western Australia. And I want to talk to you today about humiliation. It's a really interesting thing because a guy who's mentored me through his writing, Richard Rohr, talks about how he needs one good humiliation every day just to stay grounded. And I've always wondered what he meant by that, because why would anyone want a humiliation? Who wants to look stupid or look like a dickhead in front of others or be a failure? But then he explains that the Latin origin of the word humiliation means earth or ground. And that, I can see, okay, he means that it's like staying grounded, not being so up yourself or so arrogant, that humiliation kind of brings you back to earth. And I could kind of get that, but still, I'm not sold on this idea of one humiliation every day. Well, about a week ago, we were driving along in this camper van, and we start to smell something really not very good. And I know the wastewater tank, we haven't been able to get to empty out the wastewater tank. I haven't been able to get the tap open. And I, crawled under this thing, and I'm looking up, and I'm looking at all this maze of wires and pipes, and this kind of water is dripping on my face, and it smells disgusting. And I keep calling the service desk of the hire company for this van, and we keep trying different ideas, like, you're going to shove a coat hanger up there or bang the pipe or something. Anyway, I could not get this thing open. I was convinced that the tank was leaking, that was the problem. So I convinced them to let me take this camper van from our campsite 140 kilometers away to a town to get it looked at a service station. So we did that. We drove all the way there, driving to the service station, all these kind of, competent looking guys who know their way around mechanical things and how things work. And the mechanic he takes one look at the tap, gives it a yank, opens up, all this water comes out. And I went, I turned it as hard as I could. Standing there feeling like a complete, stupid, idiotic city boy who doesn't know, his ass from a hole in the ground. And he says, "Have you tried using your second muscle, mate?" Anyway, that was the end. And I just wished the ground would swallow me up. I looked to my wife, for consolation, and she just kind of rolls her eyes like this, because I've been made such a fuss of this darn thing for the last couple of weeks. Well, what did I learn? I burned. I just was burning with anger and shame. But then I started to, as we were driving back to our campsite, I realized I take myself so darn seriously. And that humiliation, my wife and I started just laughing about it, just how ridiculous it was. And just how shame is such a big deal for men, and it isn't personal. Each one of those guys in that service station, they hate looking stupid. They hate looking like a dickhead. They hate losing control, not knowing what they're doing. They've all been through it. And, put them in my situation, in my workplace, they'd feel just as inadequate. So, and the other thing is that we men, we hate that inadequate part of ourselves. We hate that. And can't I do that better? And this humiliation is a way of actually just easing up a little bit on ourselves, liking ourselves a bit more, appreciating ourselves a bit more. And maybe just dropping this facade of having to be this competent man who can do everything, have a laugh, and find that second muscle.